Hello everyone. A few days ago, I made a video on murderers. These were either murderers I was directly connected with or indirectly connected with, but I was connected with them. And I neglected to mention another story which I had. It came to mind today because on social media, I am a part of the group that demands justice for the victim of this particular crime. The moderator of that group posted Happy New Year's, so I thought about it. This particular case had been, for many, many years, considered a missing persons case. However, recently, very recently, it was reclassified as a homicide based on some additional information that the police have but have not disclosed to the public. The story begins as follows. Years ago, there was a pool hall that opened. It wasn't in the best of areas, but it was close enough to my house, so I would frequent it primarily because the pool was very, very cheap, and once I came of age, the alcohol was very, very cheap as well. Over time, this place gained a very unsavory reputation. A lot of difficult people would go to this place. There would be bar fights, there would be drug selling, there would be drug usage. It was stuff I had been shielded from in my very young adult life. But now I saw it on the peripheral, and I knew I didn't want to be a part of that. I was always surrounded by good friends when I went there, so I didn't really worry about it too much. There was a girl I would see there often, though. Her name was Felicia. She was from Thailand, and she was from one of these rougher neighborhoods. I recall this from school. She had a boyfriend for a long time. I respected that, but man, I liked her style. I liked her attitude. I liked her spunk. It spoke to me. I soon developed a crush on her, but I would notice her boyfriend. He was very quiet. He seemed a little off. He seemed a little unnerving. He seemed like someone that you didn't really want to get around to on any level. So I didn't really even talk to any of them. I just would watch her occasionally. I would listen to her occasionally. Kind of creepy, but I was very shy at this time, so I wasn't one to go and introduce myself, even though we had seen each other a number of times. Years went on. I moved a little bit further away from that particular location, and I stopped going there, and I stopped really thinking about everything in that bar. But I did remember Felicia. It was the year Chandra Levy went missing. What was that, early 2000s? It was either the same day or a couple days before or after that. Felicia also went missing. The story was she was with her boyfriend at where he had lived. They had gotten into a very big argument, and she had opted to leave the residence and walk home to her house. However, the walk was rather long, and she had disappeared somewhere along the lines, according to the boyfriend. But no one took this as a true story. Really, even the police, I don't think, really took that either. It was just enough to get this guy off, her boyfriend. A lot of her friends, and even now on social media, completely 100% blame the boyfriend for it. A lot of them knew him. A lot of them knew about the relationship, and it was very volatile. It was very dangerous, and there was a lot of violence involved, either physical or mental. There was violence. This guy was not to be trusted. He was not someone to get around. He wasn't someone who could control himself. He was someone that can go over the edge. And he was someone who did something horrible to this girl. But today, he walks out as a free man. He's never been arrested for the crime. It was good to hear that recently the case was classified as a homicide case, because it reminds you that there are still cops that look at this particular case, gathering evidence bit by bit. And I know they are trying to make a case against this particular guy. The guy's name, he still lives in the state, but he had moved. And according to someone who is aware of him, he has married and he has a kid, and the girl looks a lot like Felicia. She is Asian as well. And I thought that was like a little scary to hear too. Anyway, I kind of applaud her friends that really miss her authentically. Even after all of these years, these decades, it was decades, they miss her. They talk about her very lovingly. And they're brave enough to like point fingers at her ex-boyfriend, which to me seems a little bit dangerous because I would imagine he could ultimately sue perhaps. But it seems like, and her friend said as well, that he's too much of a coward to bring that to court because he knows what he did. So he's going to take exactly what I say, whether he likes it or not. And I like that a lot. Anyway, that was my additional story. It was short, but man, I wonder, on some level, in a parallel universe, what would have happened if I ended up talking to her, if I was a little bit more extroverted. You see, I was an extrovert, but socially, I just really didn't know how to interact with people. A lot of people were still awkward at that age. I wonder, even though it's extremely unlikely, if I could have stopped that situation on some level somehow. But I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. Anyway, that's the end.